The following program contains politically irreverent commentary. If you suffer from an exaggerated sense of self-importance, this show might not be right for you. Check with a PhD in PC, ASAP.
Proclaiming the truth in the highways and byways of the world. Fighting for justice in the dark alleys of politics. Raising the voice of resistance to a fevered pitch. And he knows where to find the best and worst jail food in America. Randall Terry.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of Randall Terry, the voice of resistance. We're here on Capitol Hill, even as the new Congress is sworn in. We've got a lot of footage to show you. It's been a very energetic day, I promise you that. But first, a word from that crazy woman, Jihad Granny.
Allah Akbar. Good morning, boys and girls. It's so good to have you. Today, we honor Al-Qaeda. Yes, they rounded up those polytheists, those women and children, and they blew them to pieces in that church in Baghdad. That's what you get for being polytheist. But Al-Qaeda, what heroes. Surely they will have a special place in paradise.
2. Welcome to the broadcast, friend. Social tension. Martin Luther King said that social tension was critical to change bad laws to good laws. Martin Luther King said, and by the way, I believe it, that social tension is what is needed to bring the boils of injustice to the surface, to the sunlight, where they can be dealt with, where the bright light of the sun can be like a medicine that brings a healing. We're out here. We've been out here all day. We're going to be out here all day, talking to congressmen, preaching to congressmen, preaching to the crowds that are gathering for this festive day. First, let me say this. The fact that Nancy Pelosi is no longer the Speaker of the House, well, kind of makes me feel like dancing. I feel good, huh? However, the joy has to be short-lived because we've been here before when a major party takes over who comes to power making promises. The question is, will they keep those promises? You can do what we're about to show you. We're going to spend most of this show showing you footage, letting you listen to the preaching that's been going on, some interviews we had with members of Congress standing outside of the church this morning at St. Peter's when they had the prayer meeting. We're going to let you see and hear that footage. And what I want you to do is not just be entertained or encouraged or inspired, but I want you to picture yourself doing something like this in your own community. No reason why you can't. Andrew, let's show a little object lesson in activism and preaching and prophetic urgency 101.
Innocent blood on our hands. Children are butchered in this country by abortion. Please help us stop killing children. Please defund Planned Parenthood. Innocent children in this country do not have to die by abortion. Fund Planned Parenthood.
Please pray for the unborn
because we kill our children.
And then do something.
Hey, God bless you. God cannot hear our prayers while innocent babies are being murdered.
Are we doing all we can to save the unborn? Excuse me, Congressman. What priority do you have for defunding Planned Parenthood?
The opportunities for our Republican majority will be that we will make sure that from the earliest days that we will talk about not only life and the laws of this country which must protect the unborn, but also to make sure that we do the right thing for people back home to live their own lives and to have the opportunity for freedom. You will see this, that the Republican majority will deliver for the rights of children and the rights of the unborn.
Is defunding Planned Parenthood a priority for you, sir?
It is.
Excuse me, Congressman. Hi. What priority is defunding Planned Parenthood for you?
We're gonna go have breakfast.
What priority is defunding Planned Parenthood
It'd
for
be
you?
pretty high on mine, yeah.
It's high.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Congress, we thank you for your service to the country. But please remember, the first duty of government is to protect innocent human life. Use your authority to protect the babies. 3,000 babies will be murdered today in America's abortion mills, the day of your swearing in. What priority does defending those babies have to you? It's a number one priority to God.
What priority is defunding Planned Parenthood for you?
You know, it's I'm definitely a pro-life individual, a father of 10. I think the big thing is, thank you. I think one of the big things we have to do is educate people, make sure they have a full choice before they make that decision. And I don't think that's happening today. So, you know, I think it's
Is it a priority for you to defund Planned Parenthood?
it's a priority to educate people to get them to where they do not want to kill their children.
Well, that's a sample of what we've been doing here today. We've got more coming up. But first, in our next segment, Dr. Alan Keyes, Ask the Doctor. And then in the third segment, more action from the streets, the front lines in Washington, D.C. Don't go away.
Randall and I were watching a presidential broadcast when he turned to me and said, "How can I express my contempt for this man without using language too foul for broadcast?" I said, "That's easy, Randall. Just say, Johnson is a perfect example of why there's so many more of those than there are of horses."
Moments with Moses. The Lord will send upon you curses, confusion and frustration in all that you undertake to do, until you are destroyed and perish quickly.
Welcome to today's segment of Ask the Doctor. I'm Randall Terry. He's the doctor, Alan Keyes.
Hi, Randall.
All right, good to be with you. In front of a live studio audience. Yesterday we talked about the Tea Party being co-opted. Talk to us about the energy, the manpower, the finances of the Tea Party being, or at least attempting to being wrested into the Republican establishment.
Well, see, I think that unfortunately, to some extent, even in its provender in a media event and some personalities and so forth and so on, there is the danger that instead of reflecting what was really there, remember the town hall meetings?
They were ugly.
Where people were getting up and they were actually demanding accountability from their representatives.
They were mean,
That actually
rude.
predated anything that was formally called the Tea Party. The Tea Party was actually, in the event, a media-generated result. A media personality applies a label, and there's the danger that it ends up being just an invented way to take that anger and frustration and channel it in a way that can be manipulated by people who have no intention whatsoever of restoring the sovereignty and respecting the sovereignty of the American people. And I think that's been at work. The people who have been out there trying to buy up Tea Party events and
Genuine
finance them while seeking systematically to exclude voices that are actually speaking for the sovereignty of the American people and for the foundation of that sovereignty in respect for an understanding of justice grounded in the premise of God's authority. So that our sovereignty as a people, our right to self-government, doesn't come from government. Our rights don't come from government. They come from Almighty God. And therefore, the people are in fact the ones who shape the government, who form it, and who in fact staff it with people who are supposed to represent
Well, right now, Dick
them.
Armey and Newt Gingrich are trying to shape the Tea Party into their own movement. And
Well,
Karl
they just
Rove
want-
just wants to slap us around.
Look, they just want to achieve whatever electoral results they can achieve to keep themselves in power, while meanwhile committing themselves to an agenda that includes on border security, on issues like the defense of marriage and things like this, compromise, surrender, and the destruction of the moral foundations of our liberty. If people really care to be free, they can afford to let leaders lead them down a road that builds up the power of some party or some leader at the expense of the sovereignty and respect for the sovereignty of the American people. If we want to restore the Constitution, Our aim should be to restore government of, by, and for the people as grounded in the understanding of our basic rights and responsibility to God that this country began with.
Let's talk about that, and we'll continue on into tomorrow, and that is the sovereignty of Almighty God. It appears to me that the political power players in both the Democratic and the Republican Party are happy to mention the name of God almost as a seduction point, to ring a little bell in the heart of the religious right, to get them into the game. But then once they're there, they have no more respect for the authority of God than a pimp has for a prostitute.
Well, a lot of these folks, even when they're being reasonably decent, they take what I call the God bless you approach. You know how somebody sneezes and you say God bless you?
Thank you.
And a lot of people say God bless you and they don't really have any respect for God or blessing or anything else. They can also take an approach that I thought was pretty clear in John McCain's speech to the Republican convention, where you boast about human achievements and human greatness, and then along the way you give a little nod to God and, pray God bless, which means approve of our achievements that we got together without you.
We'll juxtapose that with truly acknowledging and submitting to the authority of God.
Well, really submitting to the authority of God means exercising your right in the literal sense, doing what is right, that is, putting it into action, exercising it, with right determined by respect for God's authority and God's priorities and God's determination of what is right. That's what rights are all about. It's an understanding of rights that we've given up. We have allowed these self-serving politicians to talk us into believing that the word right is the same as the word freedom, and that's not true. Right does involve a liberty to do something, but it is a grant of permission that results from our acceptance of the obligation we have to God. To, for instance, preserve our own life, to take care of our own health. To, for instance, procreate the species and therefore raise our children and take care of our children in the context of the family. You can actually quite seriously deduce, as the founders did, the basic roster of rights by examining the obligations that arise from the laws of nature and nature's God and seeing what we are obliged to do as a result. Whatever we're obliged to do, we are right in doing. Whatever we are right in doing, we have the right to do, and that's what gives rise to the basic list of our unalienable rights.
All right, what we're going to do is in tomorrow's broadcast, we will talk about the two electric rails, the ones that the Democrats and the Republicans fear: homosexual marriage, child killing by abortion. They want to run from those like they were the plague, but they are central to the authority of God and our duty to obey Him in matters of public policy. If you're feeling philosophically sick to your stomach, ask the doctor. That one, Dr. Alan Keyes. Thank you, doctor. I'll be right back. Don't go away. This is harder than it looks. It is a fine thing to be honest, but it is also very important to be right. Sir Winston Churchill.
Hey, y'all. I just want to have my own TV show here in Washington, D.C. Be one of them people that goes along to get along. Not. I want to bring the Republic back to righteousness and to justice. Welcome to the show. If you just joined us, I'm Randall Terry. This is the voice of resistance here on Capitol Hill, while even as we speak, the new Congress is being sworn in. I'm not one of the beautiful people who gets to be inside, so I have to stand out here where it's really cold with my friends. Anyway, we want to show you some more footage of what we've been doing here today. Got a nice interview with a lady and her children who are here all the way from Alaska. And then in the last segment, which will follow this, some powerful words from Thomas Jefferson. Folks, this is a part of what we need to do if we're going to restore the public. Hope you're inspired to do the same in your city. Andrew, take it from here. I'm standing here in front of the Capitol with Donna Ursick and her beautiful children. They're all the way from Palmer, Alaska. I don't even know where Palmer, Alaska is. Where is it?
It's the neighboring city to Wasilla, where Sarah Palin's from.
So do you know Sarah? You guys hang out?
Oh, sure, all the time, right.
What is her favorite card game?
I don't know.
Donna, why are you here today?
We're here because we want our children to see that the Capitol, and we're also here today because we want Planned Parenthood stopped.
Nice. Anthony, have you ever done anything like this before?
This is my first time.
First time holding a sign?
No, my first time being in a picket line.
The first time in a picket line. That's great. What a great place to start, right here in our nation's capital. Do you think you'd like to grow up to be an intolerant zealot?
I don't know what a zealot is.
A zealot is like, in the Bible, Simon the Zealot. It's somebody who believes really strongly in something and they'll fight for it.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you saw it right here on Randall Terry, the voice of resistance, training the next generation of zealots. High five. You're the man. Be right back.
Look, the VIP people, very important people. The bus says so.
Let's do it! John McCain sucks! No, did you hear him? They know that John McCain wants to negotiate with the Democrats. I ain't negotiating with nobody, sucker.
Magazine. Now come over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I nominate the court jester for Speaker of the House. Our country is in a crisis. We have got to tell them we will throw them out of office just as fast as we threw out the Democrats.
Keep paying your taxes, baby. 2 more years, unemployment.
The VIP bus that goes to hell will be in flaming red. I'm picturing a lot of screaming and yelling, bright orange and red flames, maybe a demon or two with a pitchfork for a driver and a server. John Boehner said that the most important priority is the defense of human life. That's what he said. Those are his words. Unborn human life. It's the greatest mission before them. Their goal is to defund Planned Parenthood.
What do you want from the new Congress?
I want them to stop the drugs from coming in from Mexico.
All right, what else?
They're killing our kids. We got a $14 trillion defecation, and we got to cut spending. Cut it, cut it, cut it. And it starts right here. You got to get rid of a lot of these people down here. They're the elitists that are running the country right now. They're the robber barons of today, the Congress of the United States.
But there's a lot of people who want spending. They want the government to give them money.
I don't got any money. They don't produce anything. The government doesn't produce anything. All they do is take money away.
No, wait, they produce regulations.
Absolutely.
They produce an intrusion into your life.
I know, but I'm not going to let them intrude in my life. They are not going to get in my bus, and I ain't getting in the back of the bus. I've been down here since November of 2009, and I've been telling my message. I tell you what, I've never seen more arrogant people in my whole life than the people in the Congress of the United States. Got a lot of good ones, but they follow the leaders like Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and John McCain. And I tell you what, I don't like John McCain.
True to form, ladies and gentlemen, it's the court jester that has more wisdom than the reigning monarchs among us.
Thank you. You know, Barack Obama tells me I'm stupid.
Both we and our fathers have sinned. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly. Thomas Jefferson said, "Natural rights are the objects for the protection of which society is formed, and municipal laws are established." Natural rights, that's another way of saying rights that are given to us from God. The laws of nature, nature's God, all men are created equal with certain inalienable rights, natural law. Thomas Jefferson said municipal law, and that, by the way, means the laws of a nation, not the city ordinances. Thomas Jefferson said that the reason you have government is to protect our rights. And the most paramount right is the right to life. So the question is, will this new Congress use the authority given to them by we the people and by Almighty God to protect innocent human life? Will they defund Planned Parenthood? Will they restore our rights of liberty and property? Or will they just be like imperial gods that walk among us, continuing to sap the very lifeblood from this republic and letting babies be thrown in dumpsters and landfills? We'll see. It's day one of the new Congress. I'm hoping that there's a righteous revolution in progress. I'm just a little nervous. Let's wait and see. Until tomorrow, we'll be here again on Capitol Hill. God bless you. I'm Randall Terry.